Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the first xMonthly CSP Agent Secret Briefing. My name is Jeffrey DiMaria, and I'm thankful to have you here. I have our secret agent, Michael Wahl, joining our call today. He's going to be covering some amazing information around generative AI, opportunities to leverage Microsoft 365 Copilot, and also think about the AI strategy. What are people going to do to take advantage of the latest technology changes, these pivotal things that are happening within the world? We've invited Michael to join the call today. He has certifications in generative AI, leads as a VP of technology at Twiddle Group, does amazing generative AI research and provides guidance to people to help learn how to build a foundational strategy and get started with AI. Hi, Michael. How are you doing today?
Hey, Jeff, what an introduction.
Yeah.
I really
I'm
appreciate it.
really thankful to have you joining on the call today. I think that there's such an interesting opportunity for partners and clients to really get engaged with these new capabilities. And today, we'll go ahead and share a couple different items on these secret agent briefings. First, we're going to just cover some basic information that we like to arm our partners with, arm our agents with. Have some basic foundations. At xMonthly, we help you define your X, help make you special and highlight you. Some of those different services, ways that you can partner with different organizations. So we're going to make those resources available for you to kind of learn more about that. Simple resources for clients to begin to explore. We're going to showcase a little bit more about agent profiles, the cadence here at xMonthly, discover how you can best work with us, learn about generative AI solutions and how to engage in developing your AI strategy. From there, we'll wrap up with a couple key points with Microsoft, some licensing opportunities, and hopefully be able to answer a few of your questions. If you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat or engage with us, schedule a call. So moving forward, really quickly, when we launched xMonthly, we wanted to make sure that people had the tools, the resources to get started, resources to explore. The Microsoft AI Cloud is massive. There's tremendous number of tools. There's the Dataverse out there. There's Azure, M365, the Power Platform. All those solutions help develop a very comprehensive platform, which is wonderful. So you take those tools, you integrate them, use the Power Platform to help connect and use those tools. And today we're going to talk a little bit more about how Copilot can do that. With Copilot, you can just go and get started. It's free. It's a very powerful tool. It's a great way for clients and partners to get started with that resource. And then what Microsoft 365 Copilot does is help bring that capability to your environment. And then with adoption, things are changing quick. Microsoft's providing great tools, and the adoption resources provided by Microsoft can help you learn about each and every one of these resources and products. So that's kind of a very quick overview. That's a secret, simple way to get started. At xMonthly, we do provide a number of resources. We do want to help provide people like you. We'll be jumping into Michael's profile here shortly, but as you can see, you get to highlight yourself. We help people define their X, what they are capable of doing. So if you're a service provider, you may have an AI assessment or opportunity to engage. Maybe you're an HR professional and you want to be a fractional support for businesses processing their 1099s. There's different capabilities where you can list your capability, whether it be a task, a business service, an implementation service, or function. There's a lot of great opportunities. Each one of those provides you abilities to build your X. And we'll dig in on how that works with our agent profiles. At xMonthly, we provide 3 calls to help keep our partners up to date. The first working Monday, we do marketing. We did our launch call for the January edition, but for February, we are bringing in John Rivers to help with our marketing mix. For our secret agent briefing, you'll see Michael Wahl here jumping in, going to be sharing insights around generative AI. We'll have a number of different topics and speakers coming in talking about those resources. And then on the third Wednesday of each month, we are hosting an all-up CSP briefing for our partners and for our partners' clients to register. You'll be able to attend our next one. We have Tommy from our team providing that capability. Now, you may want to engage with our team. You may want to talk about how to bring your X to market. You may want to schedule that private CSP briefing. You may want to engage with us on a one-on-one discussion. Please feel free to use our scheduling tool and we'll help provide you with that capability. Really quickly, if you do want to schedule a CSP briefing for your clients, we will provide marketing materials for that. We'll provide a solution architect to help present that for you, and you can schedule that very simply and easily. That's a free service essentially for your end clients to participate, to learn more, go in depth on M365 specifically. Again, thank you everyone for spending a few minutes to learn about that. Now that we have an opportunity to quickly review, what I'm very excited about is sharing a little bit about M365, when to bring in Copilot, a resource to help you evaluate and have conversations with clients to bring in generative AI. So thank you, and let's go ahead and keep going. When I think about generative AI, I think about Copilot, I think about what matters most. You know, these tools, these resources, if you begin to use them yourself, you'll be able to see that you can help yourself run your processes faster. They allow you to scale quickly. You know, one thing that's really interesting here at xMonthly, we're working with a number of different service agents. We've onboarded thousands of partners in our time, and basically, we're starting to use new tools. We're trying to make it more interactive. So, as an X agent or as a secret agent here, you'll be geared up with a loop page. This is part of the Microsoft solution stack. Okay. So when you get started here at xMonthly, we'll end up starting a loop page with you, and you will gain access to this resource where you can begin to onboard with your different capabilities, ensuring that your profile information is accurate, your profile picture is correct, and that we have your services listed properly. We work with you to help make this process simple and easy and collaborative. You're like, wait a second, what's this loop? What's this application that's part of the M365 suite? Well, there's a lot of applications in M365. There's a lot of discussion around generative AI right now. You know, it's interesting. Michael and I are friends, and we had an opportunity to meet with a client recently. To be able to get that meeting scheduled, to start that conversation, all we had to do was saying, yeah, we're working with clients to help them better understand the capabilities of generative AI or chat GPT. Are you using it? These business owners either are using it or not. I think it's our duty to share with them the capabilities of these solutions to help make them competitive. So our next resource that I like to share with partners, as you think about how you're going to have conversations, as you think about bringing in different agents into different engagements, think about ways to have a conversation with your client. Gen AI, that's an easy one. People are curious. Well, what are you going to do with that curiosity? There's a plan for that. There's an X for that. So let's go ahead and arm you with one of the more powerful tools. This is not my tool. I highlight it because I think it's the greatest resource in helping identify ways to have a client conversation. M365maps.com has a feature matrix. This tool allows you to select or unselect all the primary Microsoft 365 SKUs and allows you to compare the features and functionality between the different applications. When you click on the feature on the left, it provides you information about what that resource is, what that capability is. As you scroll down, you'll see that there's Copilot capabilities. This is a very powerful resource. Your clients are using M365, Office 365. Learn a bit more about some of these. Grasp onto a few of these applications and go have a few conversations. It's my distinct honor now to introduce you to Michael Wahl. Michael Wahl, um, welcome to the call. Thank you for presenting and sharing a little bit more. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Jeff.
It'd be great to hear a
Absolutely.
little bit about your background,
Yeah,
experience, share with you, share some opportunities for people to engage.
absolutely. So I'll keep the intro brief. So my name is Mike Wahl. I'm the Vice President of Technology and Head of AI for Tuttle Group. I also co-founded a local company in Detroit, in Michigan here called Innovation Points. And so Innovation Points offers a number of different services, but I'd like to just probably highlight the top two that are the most in demand. And the first is around AI strategy, and the second is around the readiness assessment. And we'll kind of dive into that a little bit deeper as we go here. But just yeah, that's a little bit about me, a little bit about my background. Thanks again for having me. It's awesome to be here.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yep.
I appreciate you kind of digging in and helping share a little bit more about these capabilities. Um, yeah,
Yeah. So maybe just taking this first slide, I think this shows and highlights for us the promise of AI in the workplace, and leveraging services through Microsoft or M365, and in particular, and most recently, the generative AI services. And so when we think about those for a second, and I won't read these, but just we think about them. The goal is to automate, not necessarily and always transform, but automate and get some kind of an efficiency out of something that teams or individuals are doing today. Um, and I think the other one that gets me most excited is the second one, which is supporting more creativity and supporting our maybe bigger or larger decision making, and just having a partner, having an amplification engine to bounce ideas off of, and just kind of look for and explore those blind spots or those areas where maybe you haven't thought about a particular aspect or something, and so it's very good at that. And then I think the last one, even though I said I wouldn't read all these, is democratizing access to and getting access to a lot of these advanced tools that when we think about, even if a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, it'd be very difficult, very expensive, or just in some cases not possible without huge teams, huge funding, and lots of expertise in data science and machine learning and things like that. And so just the amount of access that we have to things is absolutely mind blowing. And so I want to highlight, I think, Microsoft 365 or Copilot in general. And I won't read these, but I think there's practical aspects to this that are kind of more tactical when we think about. And then there's other kind of more strategic, heavier lifting, use cases or things like that. And so when we think about 80% of effort, what we're saying here is, okay, Microsoft 365 or our AI tools and platforms are fantastic at summarization, at writing better emails, at polishing presentations and making things look nice. But we spend 80% of our time kind of in those areas and doing that, and we get 20% of results or kind of outcomes. And I'm not saying that's not useful or there isn't value in that, but when we think about the inverse of and especially on kind of leadership and strategic lens, I want to spend 20% of my time leveraging AI or Gen AI to get the 80% of results on the really big and important things and more strategic things that drive our business, that create positive outcomes and things like that. And so it's a little bit of a thought shift, right? And some of it has to do with that democratizing and having access to these tools that we have today, and just reminding ourselves, I think, daily or whatever the cadence is that works for you, that I should probably see if I can leverage this tool to save me some time or do something different that maybe I wasn't able to do kind of prior. So anyways, that's enough about that slide. Are we saving questions, Jeff, for the end? Probably.
I think it's kind of interesting. We did have an attendee share a point on here. It can really help people bring more clarity to an idea or process. Myself, I like working with the sounding board and being able to dig in deeper to better understand different scenarios. So it's definitely an interesting shift, right? With
100%.
Copilot and M365, I like just the app capability and your use cases that you've shared or going to share. They're definitely very intriguing. So definitely good.
Absolutely. And we'll kind of go into different ones as we have time here, I think, but the one that's like I said, on the tactical side, where we're spending time using AI or a Microsoft 365 to write better emails or make better presentation documents and stuff like that. There's also a part that when I think about, and there's an example or a use case in Excel where maybe I'm not a finance expert or I'm not as familiar with this data set or something that I'm seeing maybe for the first time, or just I'm not as familiar. I think there's really something special to being able to leverage the M365 or Copilot in each one of those applications that are on the screen. And in particular, Excel gets me excited because you can go in and say, okay, on this data set, help me kind of understand, using natural language, using Copilot or AI, help me understand the data that I'm looking at, and let me ask questions about it. And maybe, okay, let's create a pivot table and visualization. And not everybody's crazy about pivot tables, or that doesn't make sense to them. That's perfectly fine. We can have that conversation with AI, explain to it, what are you trying to do? What's your goal? What are you trying to get out of this? and have it help you do kind of that heavy lifting, have you ask questions and kind of, work through that tool. And so that's true with any one of those, but just Excel is, I think, one that gets me excited. Um, so enough about that. Okay, so this first use case I think that we have, so this is for Microsoft Word. So a kind of scenario here is we've got to create a report, or I've got to create some kind of proposal. And so how is Copilot within Microsoft Word or as part of the M365 suite going to help me do that? And so just not to read this, but with some prompting, with some conversations, it helps us to go through and at least start a draft, or at least create a framework that you can ideate and kind of work through and create. That second point is probably one of my favorites. Like, I really like the I forget exactly what that's called, but it says auto suggest. It's, hey, I'm seeing a piece of data here, or I'm seeing a sentence or some a bunch of words. Let's put this into a chart. Let's make this visual. Let's put some headers. Let's format it. Like, um, having its perspective or its suggestions are pretty cool. It's like it makes that data or that information kind of come alive in a visual format. And the second one, this rewriting is also interesting, and I've seen this many times too, where you've got something that's written or created, and you want to rewrite it or get some ideas, and like, how do I clarify? How do I say this differently? And even without prompting it or having a conversation with with Copilot, it's going to just tell you, hey, based on what you wrote, here's what you wrote. Here's a better version of it. Do you want to accept it? Do you want me to put it below so you can decide later what parts you want to take from it? So just, really, really cool. And I think the message is reduce time, right? I mean, by 50%, probably more. But just, I mean, those are huge outcomes. So that's the Microsoft Word and Copilot use case. I don't know, Jeff, are we good on time to go through a couple more, or?
Yeah, I think we got a few minutes. I actually have a question about this use case.
Absolutely. Sure.
And sorry to maybe take you off guard on this, and people can ask questions as well,
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, with your experience, it's not just M365. You have experience across multiple technology stacks. So, which is really interesting. With this first use case, what's the risk of just leveraging the one that's available in Bing, right? What's the risk of doing many of these things, or is there benefits of having it within your environment that you just can't get?
Yeah. So I think if we have time, we're going to get to kind of the, some of the services that I offer, but just, on the, strategy and the assessment and kind of how we do things, or, um, one of the things to think about is that you can use those tools, and there are things kind of off the shelf and outside of this ecosystem, but from a security standpoint, and from a, kind of best practices, it's not that you can't do it, but it's just something to think about and make sure that, the organization, and make sure that the data that you're using, and things like that, from a governance or from a security standpoint, that you're covered, and that also there aren't any kind of blind spots or concerns around, hey, this data is being used to train other models, and on the free tier or free models, you're kind of accepting, well, not kind of, you're accepting that and saying, I'm okay with that. It's part of using this tool for free. So does that answer your question, or is that?
Yeah, no, I think it's good. It's considerations that people need to be cognizant of. And, if it's an opportunity to have a new conversation because it is a hot topic, and,
Yes.
you want to protect people before they go releasing everything. So I think that's just
Right.
an interesting point.
Okay, so and I touched on this one a little bit, but so this is essentially, whether you've got, and I think it's interesting. I can say, or we can say to Excel, hey, either I need help simulating or creating a kind of digital twin or a set of synthetic data. Make a list of restaurants that are in Detroit, and hey, I want a list of the ones that are close to me, that have a 4+ star, that are this cuisine, that are whatever it is. If I don't have that data, I can artificially ask Copilot, hey, create me this data set or this table. Or I can bring an existing data set that comes out of a different system, and more importantly is to ask questions of it and say, I need help, Copilot, to understand the data that's here. I need help with show me some insights, show me, here's all this data and all these numbers and figures and whatever. Like, it's saying, help me understand what are the trends, the outliers, like help me kind of understand that, and maybe from a visual standpoint, create some conditional formatting, or create, I'm not really strong on creating pivot tables, help me create visualizations. I'm not really strong with creating formulas, I really don't think anybody is, but so help me do that. And Copilot is, okay, no problem, I'm going to help you to, conditional format, help you with the visualizations, whatever. But by the way, I'm also going to show you, here's how I did it. So if you do want to do this on your own, or if you want to make, changes later, this is the formula that I created for you that you can repurpose and reuse. Um, and again, I think, like this is saying, the outcome is, or the goal is really, rather, is we're speeding up this analysis, and we're getting better efficiency. And are there other parts, Power BI or kind of other parts within the Microsoft offering? 100%. And but this is just kind of just one example, to kind of get people thinking about, how can I start using this? Where should I start using it? Right.
Yeah, no,
So
that's good. You know, one thing that just percolated when
yeah,
you're chatting there, the
sure.
data sets is brilliant. Um, you're preparing for a demo for a client, and you need, better data that represents their business. Create
Yeah,
me a data set that does A, B, and C that imports into X.
yeah. I love it. And you're right. And even we can say, as that kind of, digital twin, or that simulation, or that synthetic data set, hey, I need 100 more rows. I need more columns. I need more data. Help me. Here's the context. Here's kind of the situation or scenario. Help me to create this data if I don't have it. And just know that, okay, it's not 100%, but to try to do that before these tools is a lot harder to do. I mean, yeah. So that's a great
No, that,
example. Yeah,
yeah, no, it's fascinating, just the new art of possible, right?
I agree 100%. Yep.
So there was another example with Power BI, a similar, it's a data visualization scenario. Power BI can integrate into other platforms, tools, Azure, OneLake, be able to do huge data analysis opportunities. Now, Michael, I want to just quickly kind of share, thank you for joining us today on here. The
Thank you for
vision
having me.
here with our agents, right? Michael's on here. We're working on different services. We're highlighting different people. And we want to help foster that relationship, help with different opportunities for partners to bring in new ways of thinking, connect with other experts in their industries, and just collaborate. We're pulling this together here at xMonthly. The two services I think you were mentioning was, the AI strategy development, and maybe the readiness on there for developing, getting started with AI. What's your recommendation on just like how a company or a person can really think about leveraging your expertise and developing that strategy?
Sure. So, Innovation Points is a local Detroit company, really, um, targets the smaller business but I think to kind of get started, and these are almost, uh, I think about the readiness is actually even in some cases before the strategy. Um, but it's kind of understanding from a readiness standpoint, um, where is the company or where is your company in terms of maturity, right? Like, are you comfortable with AI or generative AI? Is there, use cases and things that have already, been done? Do you have an in-house team? Is it, so it's a lot of, I hate to say it, but in some cases, not as much to do with AI and more about, where is your organization in relation to, AI, and where are you on the journey? And there's no right or wrong answer to any of that. But I think it's important on the readiness. For example, I always think about, you know, do you have data? Do you have access to data? Is the data in a usable format? And not to say, for reporting or for technology, but, are we able to use this data that you have with generative AI? And so some of that is a little bit of a study too. Um, and yeah, so strategy for me is a little bit more, it's a little bit deeper, it's a little bit more complicated, but I think it's really, stakeholders, teams, business. What is the objective and goal with AI? Is it a, transformational play? Is it a, the company is trying to, grow top line revenue, they're trying to, reduce operating costs? Are we trying to differentiate as an innovator? Like, there's no right or wrong answers, I don't think, to any of that, but it's important to kind of get clarity on, here's where we as a company are trying to go and here's where our strategy is, because I think it doesn't guarantee, but it helps guide and helps to select the better of, a number of different strategies that you can adopt, um, on your journey to, having AI within your organization. So I know that's a mouthful, that's a lot, but that's kind of covers both of those for sure.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. I'm looking forward
Thank
to
you.
helping
Yep.
drive additional conversations with you and partners. Um, it's such a big change right now, right? And
You.
I, I I've been following you for a while here, Michael. I've been seeing these certifications come in. Just the amount that you're investing in learning about this, I think everyone could benefit from understanding that capability. So, Michael Wahl, thank you for joining us on the first secret agent briefing of xMonthly. Looking forward to highlighting additional people. Um, even today, you shared with me a new investment with the shipping industry and funding, right? Just thinking about what Gen AI can do and how things change. The reason why I brought that up, I'm excited for next month. We're bringing in a new secret agent. We're bringing in Nate Jenkins. He's going to be sharing additional funding opportunities for IT investments, consulting services. Can't wait to learn more about those. So there's a convergence of discussions, convergence of people. We're trying to pull all those pieces together and really just help partners and our clients benefit. It's exciting. These systems, these platforms, the most comprehensive AI solution out there, the Microsoft Cloud. It's an interesting tool. It's an interesting bit to learn more about those elements. Copilot for M365, you can purchase it a couple different ways. Microsoft has changed the packaging on it now as well. It's really neat. So there's month-to-month licenses available at a premium. There's annual SKUs paid at a upfront fee on those. The M365 licenses, there's opportunities to talk about increasing the value there, doing evaluations on licensing costs. So there's things that partners can do to help leverage these tools, operationalize costs, increase the usage of the platforms, sharing the Microsoft Graph because there's a lot of pieces involved with this, different elements. I like it because we're actually leveraging a tool called Loop for onboarding here at xMonthly. It runs off of different elements of the Microsoft Cloud, and Graph is an important element of that. So it's fun that we're able to kind of pull these pieces together. There's a lot to learn about the Microsoft Cloud, and if you're exploring other clouds, we're bringing in resources that have expertise around those as well. If you are going with Microsoft Copilot, there's lots of pieces included with the $30 a month license. There's different elements to it, and we work with our partners to help better understand the different licensing scenarios. There's a lot of opportunity. The word co-pilot and agents is being flung around, and trying to understand how to package these solutions can get complicated. So we're working with our partners to better understand how to position these. A lot of these discussions are handled privately, so work with us on those. We'll be pushing out content on there, obviously. There are co-pilots for the different applications. So if you're looking for the sales co-pilot, that's a powerful tool. That's an add-on for M365 that doesn't necessarily require the dynamic seats. There's co-pilots for service. There's lots of examples out there. If you go to the adoption site, which we started at the beginning with, it'll show you how to use these tools. It'll make you think about these applications in new ways. To implement and develop these services, we're working with our agents to help deliver comprehensive solutions for your industries. This is just the tip of the iceberg. We're bringing in MVPs. We're bringing in great presenters about different applications, elements here at xMonthly. We'll be covering Copilot Studio in a future session that allows you to integrate with pretty much all resources. We'll be helping keeping our partners up to date, our agents up to date with the marketing mix. We'll be doing these CSP briefings and highlighting different individuals to help our other partners engage and expand. And we'll be hosting our CSP briefing on the third Wednesday of each month to help get clients engaged in these different resources. Thank you for joining us today. This is the first xMonthly Secret Agent Briefing. Our next one will be happening on February 11th. Our next marketing mix is happening February 3rd. And join us tomorrow for our first xMonthly CSP briefing with Tommy Cuevas. We're thankful to have you here, and thanks for being a xMonthly agent. Please let us know if you have any questions. Thank you.